In order, November 4th, 2024, Health and Emergency Services Committee, invocation. Mr. Hyde, would you do some prayer?
Father, we thank you for this beautiful day that we've had, and as we approach a very important day tomorrow in our nation, we just pray your hand upon all events. Continue to bless and to guide this nation. We pray, Lord, that you will be in the meeting tonight and that your will be the center of our attention. We pray in that name. Amen.
I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Passed. Approval of the minutes, October 7th.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same token. Recognition of the public. Have anyone want to speak? Okay, we're going to close recognition of the public. No one's want to speak today. Report of the chairman. There's not really anything that comes in. There's a few things that I've gotten emails about that may be on the agenda next month, but it'll be all open book stuff. Report of the county mayor.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, sir. Report of the sheriff. Sheriff Craddock was kind enough to email me. He can't make it tonight, and he just said there's no report on the news. Report of the EMA.
No report from EMA, no news, sir.
Thank you so much. Report of EMS. He just stepped out, but just wanted to say really quickly that Chief Post did send this around, and so we've all got it right here. He's meeting with an architect right now. He asked if it's okay, and I thought it was okay if he can come. But we've got his information, and as you can tell, the main thing he wanted me to show is that revenues were $1,051,000 of this last October, this month. And I had a few citizens reach out to me and ask what the expenses are for EMS and for these different departments. And he was kind enough to tell me that on average, about 64% is covered by the revenues that are taken in, and the rest of it's taken in and covered by tax money. So just so we know exactly where we're standing. There's probably more to that, more detail to break down, but that's all I have at the moment. But I want to share it because I had about 4 people reach out to me and ask me if I would start asking those questions, and I said, I'll get back to you.
Can you ask him next time what his days and accounts receivable, his billing days and receivable?
Yes, will you send me an email about it? So you can go. Absolutely. Okay, so that's all. Moving on to report of ECC.
So calls for service for month of October, law enforcement, 15,326. Fire calls was 2,132. EMS calls was 2,336. Calls received that are 911 in nature was 4,420, and administrative calls was 14,230. So they've 2024 they've ran about 145,000 calls.
There's admin and 911.
Good deal. Any questions on that, guys?
I got, Mr. Chairman, if I could. Do we know how many operators we have out there that's running this number of calls? I don't know if we're full staff or not. Just curiosity question.
We are currently short 4 positions.
Still full. Okay.
I'm sorry, 5 positions.
Heavy office pending.
Actually, yes, we did have to restart today, so we're, correction on that, we've got 2 vacancies. One of them is supposed to be filled in January, just had a baby. And so we have 1 more that we need to attend this one.
Pretty close to full staff.
Good. That's wonderful. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so if that's everything, then we're gonna move on to report, the animal control ad hoc. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I passed around this to everybody. This is what we're working off of. This is the report from Team Shelter that came in and advised both the committee and the Sheriff's Department what changes they would make, and they worked with Sheriff Craddock, and this is what everybody has agreed is necessary to come up to standard with new best practices and procedures. And they're plowing along and making pretty good progress on. I'm not gonna go through it all, because that's what we do every time through animal control, and it takes literally an hour to get halfway through. So, you can read through that, but I want to add a couple things to you that, Captain McCoy, who's over animal control now, he emailed me today just to add some items to it that were encouraging to hear. Before I read that, the main things we're waiting on is the budget that was passed gave additional funds to them to hire 2 part-time people to be able to do some of these items on this checklist, and you'll see them down in there, but also address some of the veterinarian needs. So he speaks a little bit to some of those. It says attached to the action checklist we are going over, I believe, is the most up-to-date list. We have interviewed 4 part-time animal service coordinator candidates and have a few more applications to process. We have set up site visits with 3 relief vets where the veterinarians have come to the shelter, toured, and discussed what services they have. These services range from holistic veterinary medicine to surgeries. The veterinarians' contracts have been sent to the county law director's office for approval, but it seems most veterinarians want to become independent contractors versus part-time employees. So that's where we're at right now, and you guys can ask questions about that or just view it in your leisure, but I wanted to just tell you where we're at.
I'd
Yeah,
like to
yeah, go ahead.
add that, I went to 2 events. One was they had a program at the spay and neuter, and it was regarding the cats, and it was national, I always call them alley cats, but it was about
Community cats.
community cats.
Yeah.
And they had 123 cats they were spaying that day, and it was an assembly line procedure, and it was great to see how efficient they are at spay and neuter. But why I'm bringing that up is that they did talk about the improvement that they are having with the animal control, and the relationship is building, and that was a good thing. And then they had also a event, and unfortunately they had the event on 5 other events in the community in the county for adoption, for pet animal adoptions, and it was to give education to the community, and there were different people, vendors there, and they actually adopted out animals that day, and some cats. So for their first animal control event, I talked to Sheriff Craddock, and he and I both agreed that it was a great event, and that it was small, but it's going to grow, and he's looking at probably doing one in the spring and trying to coordinate it so it's not with a lot of other events going on in the county. So it went really, really well.
Thank you. Thanks for reminding me. I just want to add one more thing. One of the biggest milestones that was reached was, it's been a couple of years now since there's been a relationship rift for one reason or another between the people that were doing our spay and neuters here, Sumner Spay and Neuter Alliance, and animal control, and that relationship has been mended, and they are working together. And instead of going to Kentucky all the time to do these animal fixes, they're going to be doing them back here with that as a backup. So things are going good.
Thank you, sir. Old business, or? Oh, yes.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I do want to point out, because this is probably the first ad hoc I've had run this long, but pursuant to the standing rules and procedures for Sumner County, all ad hoc and subcommittee appointments shall be for 1 year or less. So you're going to come to some point in time, if it hasn't already happened, that
some sort of final determination needs to be reported and this ad hoc needs to cease.
I was, actually going to send out a memorandum in regard to that in the near future, because I've appointed a couple ad hocs that are not near a year, but to remind everyone that it is, an ad hoc is not a general committee, it is one to meet for a specific purpose for a short period of time.
If I can ask an objective question. I'm not sure if this will suffice and fix that issue, but last committee meeting, we, Commissioner Wright, I believe, was made a motion to extend this for 6 more months and then revisit it. And does that fix the standing rules issue, because we basically started it right back up again 6 more months? Or does it have to come to close and reopen? There is a specific purpose, because it all contends with hiring these positions, and prior to that, it was contingent upon the budget passing. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. We're just holding out to see if some of these, rest of these items on the checklist, are finished off.
What I'm going to do, Tim, is send out a memorandum in regard to that, and I'll provide the attorney with it, but I think that, I'm going to say in that memorandum that by the end of the year, any committee that has existed longer than a year needs to cease operation of that. Yes, unless reappointed.
Well, that will bring up the,
And I was gonna get into that, Darren, opioid, but that one probably needs to become your report would need to be that it become a committee, because it is going to be going year to year based on funding, so it'll turn into, your recommendation to the committee will be that it needs to go to commission to form a new committee.
okay.
And, would it be, can I ask, would it be proper procedure if I make a motion, we disband that committee today and restart it today?
You've got to go through the whole procedures again if you're gonna do it that way.
Okay.
And then that begs the question, what's the purpose of having it as an ad hoc if it's gonna keep redefining its mission statement? And if you don't have tasks or haven't figured out answers to your question, then maybe it needs to stay in the parent committee until it comes down to a very specific need.
I just wanted to understand something you just said. So in order to reappoint, you have to have a different mission statement to start it back, is that what you're saying?
I believe the committee will need to take it back in, review everything that the ad hoc reports to it, and then if some other specific need needs to be addressed outside of that committee in an ad hoc setting, that ad hoc will be given that criteria, and maybe that was one of the problems here. This was formed too loosely. And just kind of, here's animal control, go fix it. That's really not what the intent of the ad hoc is, of the ad hoc process. So it needs to come back to committee needs to figure out, all right, here's what we're doing, here's what's working. If you run into some impasse again, then you can run down the ad hoc and reinstitute another ad hoc. But you can't keep this one going in perpetuity. I think I can't say it specifically says you can't do that, but that's contrary to the.
No, and that's not the goal anyway. That's in perpetuity is not the goal.
Just curious too, if you don't mind giving me some guidance. So, last month, there were a lot of people worried about this committee getting shut down. And this month, there's like definitive terms that's been brought forth that everything needs to be shut down. So I'm just curious, I don't know if you can answer this, but what brought the need to shut down all committees tonight?
I'm not shutting down committees.
No, but what you just said.
Oh, ad hocs?
Yes. What brought the need for that? Whenever the last month we had such a strong discussion where the citizens were so worried about this one being shut down because there was such a need. And then we moved to this month, which is a month later, to where it's like
You're
we're going to have
saying
a
motive
definitive.
or intent to disband this?
Yes.
No, what happened is I was reviewing the rules and procedures, and I started thinking, well, this one's been running a long time, I need to make sure we're still within the guardrails on this, and that's when I went and researched how you all were came up, and then I saw that limiter.
Do you know how long this one's been running?
October of last year to October, this year's 1 year right now.
Okay, got it, I understand what that is. I just didn't know.
No, there
Okay.
wasn't, no, that was just me.
And I know that'll come up, because I know that with you saying, you reading the guidelines, and then Mr. Hyde saying he's gonna send out something, I'm thinking, I know that people will say, why is this happening? And I just know as a citizen, I would be like, spider sensitive, what's going on?
It's a little self-serving for me too, because so many ad hocs are getting created right now that I thought I need to get tighter reins on this to understand exactly what the intent is. Otherwise, we're gonna have more ad hocs than we do committees, and
Okay.
nothing's really getting worked out where it needs to get worked out.
That's fair, okay.
Well, just to be clear, I mean, I understand all that, but we had clear intentions. We defined this scope back in April, and it's just been slow going about it. And,
That doesn't mean this committee still can't perform the tasks that you report as an ad hoc to them. This committee still would have purview to keep certain things moving.
so it may just absorb into this committee. Okay.
Well, no, this committee created the ad hoc.
Right.
It's merely served its intent at the time, then the committee takes back control over what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Okay.
That means the citizens will no longer be a part of it.
Well, they can still public speak. The citizens that are on the committee will no longer be a part of it.
And I'm very
Because
informed.
there's
I
two
know you are.
citizens on it, but they can still participate, be active, and speak, make public comments, but we
Okay.
just take on this form.
Well, that's good to know, we'll probably need to discuss that next month.
We'll need to make a determination once Mr. Hyde
What,
sends
what,
it out
what
and
his
you all.
ruling is, we'll make sure. Okay.
When is that coming out? When are you gonna send out a memorandum?
There's no telling. I'm very busy right now. I really can't.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all.
Okay, so, thank you so much. So, no old business as far as I know. New business, there's just two things on here. Director Widener sent out, there was a truck that was in East Tennessee, helping with, deployed to East Tennessee, and one of the trucks was involved in a minor hit-and-run accident. And, he submitted a claim to the insurance company and received a check for repair, but the other party that hit our driver left the scene. It was in a curve, and you can see it in the materials. And he needs to start the process ASAP to request funding to make repairs. The money came in.
Here's the check, right?
I think that it has to be allocated, yes.
Motion to close.
Second,
It's just allocating it from
yeah, just allocating it, just letting him.
when the check came in.
As far as I know, as far as I can tell, it looks like that it's something that has to be taken care of, and he's already got his uninsured motors or something like that.
Sure, budget can work that out.
Yeah, so, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same token. Okay, motion passes.
So we're moving this to budget.
Yes, sir. And then, ECC policies, if y'all had a chance to read through pages 14 through 45, what it is, Mike Guthrie's here, he can come speak, if y'all would like him to. Just the gist of it is that he's not asking for new money or new hours, but he's just asking, and shoot me a dirty look if I'm telling this wrong, Lisa, but, he's just basically asking that it goes from 160 hours that can be rolled over to 240 hours, which would align with the company-wide policy, as the way I understand it. I spoke with David Loring too about it, and he said that we have done that, but there's one caveat. Thankfully, they discovered it, because it looks like that it all of a sudden came to the light that it already says refer to company policy, and company policy in 2022 passed to be 240 hours that can be rolled over, and not into sick leave. Now, there's a couple of things to think about, just playing the full court press. That seems like something we want to do. It seems like it makes it in alignment with all the employees the same. But there's one or two little negatives just to think about. So it doesn't go over into sick leave any longer if this is passed. It would go over and there'd be 80 extra hours allocated to rolling over to the next year. Well, in that case, that someone walks away from their job, then we have to pay out that extra remaining amount of $80, is the way I understand it, on how we're making, 80 hours, just $2, sorry, 80 hours, to make up that difference. And so I will take a motion or a second so we can discuss. Yes.
But you're saying it's not going to sick time?
Oh, I see.
You're saying it's not going to sick time?
Let's motion.
Motion for discussion.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You're saying that it's not going to sick time?
Right now, it'll go, sorry, I just want to be on Robert's rules. It will go to sick time as of right now, the extra 80
But
hours.
when the policies are changed, you're saying it's going to comp time?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It would move to comp time.
If I can speak, I just may speed this up for you. This went through legal as well, and, it might help us go through that. We reviewed it, everything was fine. The only hiccup we had was the approval process. So that's really all we're doing here. It jives with everybody. It just needed approval for their board, and then it needed to come up here and get commission ratification. And once that happens, everybody's on the same sheet.
That's what I understood it as too. And I thought David Long, he said the same.
Yeah.
I think that if it's over 240, it rolls to 240 is the maximum that can be allowed by TCRS.
You're correct, if this is correct. But as of right now, it's 160.
Right, but you're saying that we would have a budget impact of 80 hours if somebody walks away from the job. Anything over 240 should roll to sick.
You're correct.
So where's the budget impact?
As of right now, it reads 160.
I'm not following, you said where the budget impact was.
So the budget impact is if this goes through, I'm not saying it shouldn't, I'm just saying the impact will be, if it goes through, then it goes from 160 to 240, so that makes it where there's 80 more hours that would be paid out to an employee who would.
You don't pay it if they don't have it, right?
No, but as of right now, it wouldn't roll over, it's not use or lose, it would be use or roll to sick.
Right, but
But now it takes 80 more hours that moves into comp time as opposed to sick time.
no, it doesn't go to comp time, it goes to sick.
Vacation time, sorry.
So it goes, yeah, so
Yeah.
you get 240.
PTO time, yeah.
No, you get
Personal time.
you get 240, and then anything over 240 rolls to your sick leave.
Yes,
And then,
if this goes through.
yeah,
But if it doesn't go through,
We're
as
at
it stands
160.
right now, they're 160, is what I'm saying.
right.
Yeah.
But
We're saying the same thing.
but when you first started, you were saying that it's 80 hours that we would pay the employee.
240 minus 160.
Yeah, that's the wrong way of looking at it, I think, Mr. Chairman, respectfully. You would have to, that it's 80 hours is irrelevant because the employee's not gonna have the 80.
Well, that was the thing that David Long said to make sure to discuss, our finance director. He said, make sure you discuss the fact that there's 80 more hours on that amount that would be an eventual payout, as opposed to that rolling into sick leave. That's all I'm saying. I'm just going off of what he said.
Mr. Chairman, can we hear from Mr. Guthrie on this?
Of course.
Second.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna make a motion, we suspend the rules to allow Mr. Guthrie to speak to this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Say, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So currently, our policy says up to 20 days could be, I'm so sorry. Cumulative time could be carried forward up to 20 days. So most of our employees, about 39 of the roughly 58, are on 12-hour shifts. So if they're on 12-hour shifts and they can accumulate 20 days and roll that over, that's 240 hours anyway.
Right.
So we have about 19 employees who are either 8 or 10-hour shift employees. So that would make the difference. But the county policy specifically states that you can roll over up to 240 hours. So this would just be to keep everything in line with the county policy, make it a straight 240 hours, whether you're an 8, 10, or 12-hour employee. Doesn't matter about the days, it's about the hours. And still, yes, the policy does state that anything over 240 hours would be rolled over to a sick day or sick time. So consistent with our policy now, it's just expanding it from 160 hours to 240 hours, in line with what was passed in 2022.
Does anybody have a question for him? Please, go ahead.
So it always rolled over in 6 days before?
As long as I've been a county employee, almost 30 years, it's always rolled over
After
your
160.
sick time, depending on what department you work for. Either the calendar year, it's your anniversary, or whatever. Some doesn't allow you to carry over any at all. You just go over to your sick time if you didn't use it.
So you understand, they're just raising it to make it the standard, precedent. Mr. Hyde,
The sick time that they accrue, if it's over 240, or any sick time. So if I, for example, if I was to resign, say I'm out of here, do they get to keep the sick time?
I think it rolls over to your TCRS, that's still allowed by county policy. Let's read what not agrees, what days work, one creditable service month.
every time.
I think,
Sorry, they were talking, I can't hear.
Sorry about that.
sure. I believe the way that the policy is written currently, that you take your sick time when you leave, and you can roll that into your TCRS. 20 sick days is one creditable service month going towards TCRS.
If they choose not to do that, do they get their payout on the sick?
Not sick time.
Let's take a minute to have, are you
Go
go?
ahead. I just want to be very clear, this policy is bringing it up to everybody else in this
Yes.
county, so I think we're really trying to skin this cat 100 different ways, just end up at the same place.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, after speaking with you and speaking with Law, with the finance director, I don't see any reason we shouldn't do this. I mean, I just want to bring a couple of the spots of that 80 hours, difference of payout, because that will be a slight difference for those 19 employees. I mean, just looking at it, still, it's the thing that would get them up to, he's not asking for more money.
600 other county employees, correct?
I have just a general question that you may be able to answer or may not, but what are the possibilities of abuse with this program? And you're a manager, what are the possibilities of abuse? I've heard a couple of things that have disturbed me over the years.
Yes, sir. Chairman, I'm not a big vacation taker, and I certainly don't take sick time, knock on wood, so I like to build mine up and keep it, because you never know what's going to happen. But as far as abuse, I don't know, I mean, a lot of our employees, Amy is a 20-year employee, got a few other employees that are, upwards of 10 or 12 years, but a lot of our employees are fairly new, and I don't see them accumulating 240 hours of vacation relatively quickly. The policy, you have to be here 5 years before you get 3 weeks of vacation, so, just the nature of our facility, we just have so many newer people that I don't see that this is going to be a detriment to us.
And I guess this question would be to you, or to the attorney, or just maybe even payroll, but, how many, do we have any idea how many employees are holding a number of days, a large number of days?
I couldn't tell you the time without having them right in front of me, so I even guess at it.
When you say days, are you going sick time or? Well, they're never gonna exceed the 240.
For vacation.
With the vacation, it's always gonna rule the sick time, so you've got people that.
But how many are there?
Could be a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot.
Again, a good number of our employees are fewer than 5 years service, so.
He raised it about half a second.
So, I appreciate your line of questioning. My employer is just, we're a large, global corporation. We just moved to the model of, after March of next year, you can only keep 40 hours accrued, because it keeps a large swath of people from retiring at the same time, and having a huge payout all at the same time. They made it to where you had to burn your sick days, your vacation days. You can only hold 40 hours over the next year. I just wondered if there was, I know that's not what's on the table today, but approving this makes everybody the same. Would it be wise to look into more current procedures and budgeting for future by looking at everybody at this point? Is that kind of what you're asking?
I think I would want to do that, later. I think we need to go ahead and approve what needs to be approved. But it is something.
A point to look at for
things
later.
I think.
Okay.
I was just gonna say that all this does is pull everybody up, lines up with TCRS, the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement. And that's, we would be doing an unjust service to our SEC operators by not doing this. So with that, if it's okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Whoever's making a motion, if it could, we can request that it goes straight to commission.
Correct.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And, if you don't mind, would you say for just a second? I don't know if we need to do it, we just passed it with him standing here, is that okay?
Well, you passed one of the three policies.
Oh, we didn't
Yeah,
close.
substitute,
Suspension of the rules. We didn't close.
We didn't close the suspension of the rules.
Just revote, just close it.
Okay,
Bring it back.
I'm gonna close it and bring it back, because I wanna ask you a call taker. Okay, we're gonna go back into session. We're gonna come back.
I'll renew my motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Say no. Okay, it passes unanimously. Sorry about that, that's my mistake.
And
Okay.
just for the record, I'll waive budget and send it straight to commission.
This is going straight to commission. Okay. I'll entertain a motion, I'll make a motion, we suspend the rules.
Second.
To invite, Mr. Guthrie back up here. Director.
What, the next?
Model Slavik, so Mike Slavik, yes. Interim director, yes.
So, would you mind discussing call taker and telecommunicator, for us? If you don't mind, these are a couple of position concepts that he's got, and it's in our packet. He sent them and he included them, and I just wanted to make sure that he explains it, because I know he did a better job than I would.
These are nothing new, these are existing positions. The call taker is one who solely takes calls. They don't dispatch, they take the calls, call 911 to the admin phone, they answer, and they input all the information. Telecommunicator can do call taking, or they can do dispatching of police, fire, and medical. The reason why we're rewording some of these is because we're going for CLIA accreditation. CLIA is the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. It's a nationally recognized program that brings our policies up to a standard across the nation that fits best practices. So we're also trying to support the 911 Saves Act, to where we can get our 911 telecommunicators recognized as first responders, because they are the first responders. First person to talk to when you need a police car, a fire truck, or an ambulance, typically. Okay, so that just brings us up in line with national standards, with CLIA. It's nothing new, just rewording a few things, adding to their responsibilities. Nothing extravagant.
Any questions? I'll move for, I'll make a motion, we discuss.
I was gonna bring us back into the,
Okay, yeah, got it, nobody has questions? Okay, so, we bring it back into session, thank you, sir, so much.
Yes, sir.
Michael,
Sir.
you have done a great job, in my opinion, and as far as I know, you may have other things, well, I'm not sure, but as far as I can tell, you've done a great job, and I want to personally commend you.
Well, I appreciate that. It's not because of me, it's because of the leadership that's within the center, and I allow them every day. So
And a good leader will say that.
That's what they pay for us. Honestly, they do that. But we do the other three policies as well. Let me go on and give questions about those.
Yeah, we will have some questions about them, I wanted to discuss those. And do we have any motion that needs to be made for these two that we just done? You didn't need it passed forward, did you?
Well, I think, according to Mr. Sittler, any policy change has to come before the body, so.
So I make a motion that we approve this, to be passed forward to.
I didn't get this, is this an add-on?
Yes. Okay, it was. Did you get this? No, it was in the packet.
it's on the packet, it's just pages 40 through 45.
14.
Yeah, it's the very back.
I'll second
Yeah,
that, for the point of discussing zoning of Commissioner Rogers, that's fine.
Yes.
Mine's very sweet to the point. I'll offer an amendment to your motion to group and approve the remainder.
Well, I'd like to talk about this.
I would love for you to just tell the people what they are, because I've read it, but
Is it just two more?
one more. Just two more.
Here's your motion and second on the floor.
Okay, motion and second on the floor to approve this, these two that he just had.
To group and approve, yes, sir.
He amended and he seconded it. So we gotta vote on the amendment
Okay,
first.
We're good to approve all of them, policies?
We're voting on the
Okay.
amendment first.
Okay, I'll open the floor for discussion. We can do that, can't we, before we do that, so,
Honestly, oh, can I do it? I'll be honest, I did not read this part, so I would just like to hear what it is. I don't want to belabor the point, but I would like to quickly hear it.
I don't mind, I have a legal question, I've never seen this happen before. If we group and approve, we have to discuss, just like we do the rest, but do we don't group and approve?
Nope.
Okay, no. Then, all in favor, say aye. All opposed?
No.
It didn't pass. Okay, so, okay, I will, okay, back to the original motion. All in favor to move these forward and approve the two that we just discussed forward? The telecommunicators and the call line.
We voted on the first one, now we're gonna vote on the second one, all right?
No? Okay, just back up. We voted on the hourly.
Yes.
Before. Yep. And then now we're gonna vote on the call taker and the telecommunicator.
Yes, that's what you were saying.
Yes,
is the two.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so, and then the last couple ECC policies, I'm gonna, make a motion, we suspend the rules to have,
Second.
come up and speak to us, please. Thanks, sir. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Wait, you discussed the last two policies.
Sorry, sure. Last three, party policy was lengthy and wordy. We just reduced it to, about 3 subheadings here. Excessive tardiness is 3 or more consecutive parties within the last 90 days. You can be talked to, counseled, reprimanded up to them, but definitely have to be heard. There is discipline measures that will occur there. Personal appearance and dress code, and bringing some of this in line with what is acceptable for today. No form-fitting athletic shorts or pants. We're allowing open-toed shoes now, as long as you strap on the back. Stretchy pants, you have to, this follows the Board of Education policy. As long as your hands down to your side and the rest of the body is covered and your shirt comes down to your wrist, and that's acceptable. And that's consistent with other policies. And then finally.
Shirt or shorts? Gotta cover your down to your wrist.
If you wear stretchy pants.
Cover your,
I thought you said if your shirt comes down to your wrist.
It should.
Yes.
It's like if you got
That
long
covers your
shirt,
buttocks.
Covers your,
Yes.
like, you got on tight pants. Like Mr. Howard.
Right.
Your shirt
Covers your outside shirt.
Okay. I'm trying to think of shirt.
Stretchy pants are allowed as long as your business.
As long as it's them on your butt mid-thigh, you're good to go. Yeah, I don't think you've got that to worry about.
Come down past your pants.
Your pants come down past your
We
fingertips.
didn't go to that point, but we did, so.
Come down, but
You also
length
talk
of the
about all
nose.
that, like, there were a couple of changes on all that, right?
Right, on our
Measure from the wrong side.
we added in a part for, all of the holidays being recognized, other than just the standard ones that you would get in odd years. Now we're gonna add in the ones that, you would get in even years during election time. Also, absences. If you have an unscheduled absence, if you have more than 6 unscheduled absences in a 6-month period, then you are subject to disciplinary action, Changing of a few other words, requiring doctor's note from a physician instead of the employee's physician. I think that's about it.
And also just, I like this improvement too, this improvement words, but, there's one little tiny change where it's not just your direct supervisor, but if for some reason they're out of the office or whatever, you can talk to your manager, the director, or whatever,
Correct.
above in the chain of command.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But I think all good changes, good wording in there and good verbiage. So, yes.
Can we go back in session now?
Yes, sir.
Make a motion that we group and approve now.
Second. All in favor?
Dan talked about
Oh, no.
Is there a couple?
Do we not talk about compensation benefits?
Yeah, that was the very first.
That's the first thing we talked about.
Yeah.
I got a headache after that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same vote. Okay, and, just one more,
Motion
thing, you know what, Kevin, before we adjourn, I want to say, I forgot to say that Commissioner Wright is home sick. If you wouldn't mind keeping me in your thoughts and prayers, and I forgot to say that at first, and forgive me, because I care about you. All, make a motion, we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.